Hello.
Go for it, Venerable. I'm going to turn the mic off because there's too much noise here. Go for it, Utpala. Can't hear me?
Can't hear you, boss. There's too much noise there.
Can you hear me, Utpala?
Yeah.
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
I don't hear anything.
Oh.
It's you. We all hear.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, so your speakers are turned off, Utpala, or something? No?
volume. Can you hear any of us?
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
I found it.
Okay. You
Hi.
bother everybody with your homework, okay? Let's go.
Maybe
Oh,
we
shall
will
we do a
bother you
quiz?
with your homework.
Now I
Yes.
can't hear you. Is your microphone on?
She's good. Geshe, now it's you.
God, what's going on? Oh, you go ahead and start. Let's see. I got those. That's okay, right?
That's okay. What about, where's that other little?
Ali's boy.
It's a better or worse? Oh, great. Oh, it's good.
Utpala, can you say something?
And it's good.
Utpala,
I
can you-
want to do this.
Okay, it's good. It's good. You got enough food?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't hear you.
Oasis mixtos.
I don't hear anybody.
Check
That's
your
right.
volume, Utpala.
Okay, now I hear people.
Good, good, good.
Hey, all right.
Okay, welcome to the
It's a close call.
first quiz. Having some fun now. Okay. In his discussion of the mind-only school, what two things about the nature of things does J say even the sutras figured it out?
Mm.
There were two things.
Things don't deserve their names by definition.
Well, nobody deserves anything, but
They don't apply by definition. Yeah.
yeah, words for a thing's essential nature and characteristics do not apply to the thing automatically. And then what was the next thing that the sutra scoffed? It follows on this
Mhm.
very closely.
To no.
If you
Therefore, anything can have any name.
if you think that they apply to the thing automatically,
Hmm.
it's a mistaken state of mind.
Mhm.
Okay.
Cool.
Now, keep that second one in mind. Thinking that they apply to the thing automatically is a mistaken state of mind.
hmm
And please give me that phrase in Tibetan. You may need to look at your notes.
Not Sertong.
Well, no, because we're talking about thinking
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about mistaken states of mind
Well,
as two clues for words that
Uh-huh.
might appear in the phrase.
Let's say trilpa, but
Yeah, that's in there.
yeah.
Trolshay.
Ah, good. That's two of the words at the end.
Mm. Can I have
Or
a
no,
vowel?
Shay is on a different one. Sorry. Tokpa's in there somewhere, yeah. It's
Bye.
Tokpa de Nangwan te la Troshe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Trolshay is there.
Yeah, Troshe is there.
Tokpade. I like that font.
Mhm.
Isn't it lovely? Tibetan Machine Uni.
I have that one too, but even the English.
Oh, Garamond. Okay. Let's say you figured out that second part, just as the sutras did. What does K to J say you've done by doing that? Remember, it was sort of like, wow, cool. You're muted, Geshe-la, if you're saying
I know what it is,
answers.
but since you never told me mine, I'm not going to answer.
Understood the emptiness of labels.
Of
Things.
things.
Yeah.
That's
When you
cool.
understand that what appears to your thinking does not exist the way it appears, as existing by definition, you have realized the lack of a self-nature to things.
Cool.
Now,
Which in most schools, most of the lower schools, is considered more difficult,
Mhm.
perceiving the lack of a self-nature to the person.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so now remember, at the end of that section, there was a phrase that gave us pause. Do you remember that phrase in both Tibetan and English, and then why it gave us pause?
That's hard to.
No.
No.
Gave us pause.
It made us go, this
Oh, I
can't
thought-
be right.
What?
I thought like Jeru's pause.
It's got a mate in there at the
Mhm.
end. It's got a dun right before it.
Then May.
Ong Dun
And
Mei.
then right before, yeah, very good. On dun mei. And what does that mean?
It doesn't mean that it would.
It doesn't mean
It doesn't
comes
mean that it
in-
would be that.
I still haven't figured that out yet.
Well, I'm giving a possible, maybe something. So why did it give us pause?
It seemed to be attached to something that was true.
Right. It's because the next section appeared to state the opposite.
Yeah.
So
It's a mystery.
here's something that I'm thinking might give us a clue. What is it about the way that the sutras describe the relationship between a sense consciousness and the object that appears to it that might give us a clue about the puzzling word choice in the previous question?
Hmm.
I don't know. The sense consciousness takes on the aspect of the object.
Well, if we said that if you think about something existing the way it doesn't is a mistaken state of mind, then the perception of a sense consciousness towards the object that appears to it is unmistaken.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's what they say about sense consciousnesses. So we're not talking about conceptual thought, we're talking about sense consciousnesses.
Mhm.
Mm.
So
And
could
then-
this be the sticking point? Could it be that, okay, cool, sutras get that the essential nature and characteristics of a thing don't apply to it automatically, and they get that if you think about it that way, that's a mistaken state of mind, but they hold that what appears to a sense consciousness is not mistaken.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Wouldn't the middle way also think it's not mistaken?
No, I don't think so. I think the middle way would say that your eye is
Is-
infected with ignorance. I think.
Okay, we'll move on. So please describe what's going on with the sense consciousness that causes the nature of that relationship with the object that appears to it. And give the Tibetan phrase for that. What is it that, because we already know the answer, what is it that makes the sense consciousness be unmistaken with regard to the object that appears to it? Remember, it was a very rare and unusual Tibetan phrase.
No.
It's the result of being infected by a particularly persistent, stubborn, and firmly implanted seed. Do you remember?
No.
And the Tibetan phrase for that then if you
Babun
don't-
10, right? Or something like that.
is close. It's Bakchak Tenjung Giwangshe.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
couldn't find a glass with different words for glass on it, so this is as close as I could
Mhm.
get.
It's pretty good.
Okay, here, Geshe-la, things arose and I could only look at the first bit.
AONT. You gotta make it bigger for Grandpa. Huh?
I know. I gotta make it bigger for the universe.
Yeah.
Is that big enough or bigger?
It's okay for me, but I think it doesn't hurt to make it as big as you can.
Does that work?
That's okay. Okay. Yeah, physical essentially exists within. Since I don't care that's not bad. You could say when we negate, right?
I was thinking it was in this past tense.
Uh,
When we have.
it's a general truth. It will, or it does.
Oh,
It's present tense. Yeah. Yeah. Is negated. Yeah. So when we deny that things could exist the way we feel that they do, then we have denied self-nature to things. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's good. That's good. Yep.
but
But yeah. Okay. Yeah, that could be a soft conjunction. We'll see. Okay.
Okay. And I apologize, I wasn't able to get.
That's
to it.
I that happened to me with Utpala's text a couple days ago. Yours was the most stubborn text this term. It refused to reveal itself to me.
Darn it.
Let's see. All right. Please read, and who's gonna check you? You pick a person to check you. How's that?
Venerable Jigme.
Ooh. Luckily, she finished her dinner. You want to sit here? Hang on. Can you move this there? Yeah. Okay.
What'd you guys have?
We had quiche and salad, but the salad is sticking around like the hard points in Utpala's text.
Ew.
Sorry. That's not okay. You guys do your thing.
Okay. Tope shen sule wang she ki nang su kakja lo yul tu char awe tok mar nang su de ngut sina de tar tu drupar shenpe tope shen sul tar drupa gope su ship gope su shipala ke chena Ming si nga ro lo me cheer la sope ni. 王学技能素 part 上帮狗把做 word 这度。
Okay, nice. This is a very, very difficult paragraph. Tokpe shenyu. When you, very, very important for this section. If you see tokpa spelled without an S, what does it mean?
It means that it's a thought, but it could be an incorrect thought
Yeah, you could call it a,
or mistaken.
what do you want to translate it as, you guys?
Idea, concept.
Ideas usually.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Well, we've been saying before the way we think of them.
Okay. And then shensu means how you believe it to be. Okay. So how your, listen, your idea of the idea, sorry, the way you feel it is when you get a certain, when you perceive, I would say perceive, I don't know, when you, I need a different word for topa. It's to, you're looking at something and it's not defined as correct or incorrect.
Right.
Conceive of.
Conceived. Conception. You want a verb or you want to?
We say you perceive something mistakenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Let's try perceive. But I admit that we might find something better. Okay, shenba is different from tokpa. Tokpa means you perceive something, and then shensu means you take it to be a certain way.
How you take it.
Okay, so of all the ways that you could perceive something or think you perceive something, how's that? Okay. Now let's go to the second line in the middle. Okay. Gakcha lo yu to charka. Okay, and that's a crucial section in this sentence. Okay, gakcha, you know gakcha.
Right. The object to be denied.
And all you guys have heard gakcha, and now you know what it means and you feel comfortable with it. So there's the spelling of gakcha. Charkawa means sharkawa.
The word strikes you.
Here's you.
It's difficult to get it
Difficult.
a picture in your mind. Okay, lo yu to charka means it's difficult to get a good picture in your mind of the gakcha. Okay.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's difficult to get a good picture in your mind of the gakcha. Okay. Why? Because of all the ways that you could wrongly think of something. Okay. Wang shaking nangzu, how things appear to your physical senses. It's very hard to detect gakcha. Okay, like mentally, you can sit down and say, "Oh, when I think something's coming from itself, that's the gakcha." But to detect your eyes feeling that to detect that your eyes are mistaken all the time, that they are always looking at a gakcha. Your eyes are lying to you, your ears are lying to you. Okay, to really isolate the gakcha in the case of sense awarenesses, how you see blue, for example, is extremely difficult, he says. Gakcha, look, chakawa, it's difficult to close your eyes and think correctly of how it is that your eyeballs are misseeing things. And what we learned in Sugeng's text, his first dependent origination, Wheel of Life text, was that all 12 links are infected by marikpa. Okay, even when you see colors and shapes, those perceptions are infected by misunderstanding. But it's much harder to describe what's going on with your eyes and your ears. Okay, it's easy to describe what's going on when you think the wrong way. Oh, I thought my husband yelled at me because he was mean, but he yelled at me because I yelled at somebody less. That's mental. But to say, when I looked at my husband's blue shirt and I misunderstood blue, that's hard to get the gotcha. What's going on? What are you doing wrong? It is a blue shirt, right, Hustle? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, it's difficult to isolate the gotcha when you're talking about sense consciousness. That's all he's saying, okay? So he says, I'll give you a strategy. Tokbar ngun zin the nangsu. Okay?
Tokmar.
If the task you have set for yourself
At first,
is to produce the gotcha in a sense perception, then the first thing you should do is ngunzin the nangzu.
yeah, recognize the way it appears.
Yeah. Ngunzin means you would first have had to identify.
Oh.
Okay? Before you talk about gotchas, in what your eyes are doing wrong, it's essential to understand what's presenting itself to your eyes wrongly before you can cancel it, which is you have to understand what's wrong with what you think you see. Okay, so what's appearing to you? Okay, and it appears to you, to the eye, EYE. Your blue shirt appears somehow wrong. Okay, and you can't discuss canceling that until you understand what's appearing wrong way. That's what he's saying here. Togmar nangzu langunzin. First identify how the blue is appearing to you, and then you can talk about canceling what's wrong. Okay, so how does the blue appear to you? Okay,
65.
here we go. Okay. Yeah, if you want to get to canceling what your shimba, what your wrong belief is holding about the blue, then the first thing to do is to identify how the blue is appearing to you in a deceptive way. It's lying to you. The blue is lying to you in a certain way. You cannot disprove that appearing until you know what is appearing to you. Okay? And then he says, it's crucial to understanding emptiness in this context, to understand what's wrong, what's appearing, what's lying to you, who's lying to you, okay? What's the lie being presented? And then you can cancel it. But if you don't even know, like with the pen in the normal conversation in DCI, the lie is that the pen is appearing to come from its own side. The gotcha is that it doesn't. Okay, so if you cannot describe the lie, you can't gotcha, you can't cancel it. Okay, so he says, in the case of the senses, to understand how things are lying to your eyes, colors and shapes, the raw data is lying to you. If you can't describe how it's lying to you, you can't disprove that lie, okay, which is gotcha. You can't cancel it, okay?
And so you have to be taught
to
know what it is to.
Yeah, and he's saying, look, before I talk about emptiness of things that you are seeing with your eyes, we have to talk about how do things lie to your eyes. Okay, then we can talk about the emptiness. Okay, and then he says something really heavy, and if you don't know what's going on here, you will never figure it out. Okay, he says, "Mingi ngaru lo mechir," and that's a famous quotation from a mind-only text, the Mahayana Sangraha. Okay, that's a sangha, right? It's a famous quotation. Mingi ngaro, before the name, lo me, there's no perception.
Uh-huh.
Okay, before the name, there's no perception. ...
Wow.
And he just pulls it out of a hat, you know. We weren't talking about this at all. And he says, Wang Shi Lan Nang Zu. That means how is blue lying to your perception of blue? Shenba Gokpa, we're going to have to talk about that. And then we can cancel it. And that's our main job. That's our main job. Okay. Now I got something super sexy for you.
You found the code and we're going to do that?
I found the quote in Tony Lama's Diamond Cutter Sutra commentary, the first book published by the Mixed Nuts ever.
Mhm.
He clarifies this quotation.
Oh, wow.
You should give Grandpa like $3
Really?
just once.
How much? How much?
3. Okay, 2. I'll take 2.
2.
Never mind. I'll suffer quietly, or maybe not so quietly. Here's the Diamond Cutter Sutra commentary by Choni Lama, translated by the eminent. Where are you?
Venerable Elizabeth von der Post with Geshe Michael Roach.
This very pair right here. We can call them the two naughties. All right. So please read, Utpala.
Der Drupnani, Nut Jechi Yut Shena, Yute, Pakbatok Me Yi Tektule.
Yeah, good. By the way, I want to get my cursor up here to help you guys. And this thing is irritating. Okay, good. Let me do one more thing. Okay, good. Dear Dugnani, if things existed that way, okay, in a real way, Neje means, well, what would that hurt? You know, what's the problem? Neche Chiya, what would be the problem? Well, there would be a problem. And Pakpa Tokme Kitek Dule, if you want to know what it is, let's go to the Summary of the Greater Way, written by a Sangha, which is one of the main mind-only texts in the universe, okay? Please read this verse and read it like bum, 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 bum.
Making roll low. That's too high.
You
Making roll low.
you sound just like those little boys at the monastery. Okay.
Mọi người chưa đăng mang trời chưa. Để đặt ni đặt mang đăng. Đặt trời kêu quay trúc bao nhiêu.
Yay. Okay. Boy, I'm just blown away. All right. And here's the translation. Before it is given the name, there is no idea of it. And that's the part that's being quoted by your author right here. Okay. Yeah. Before it is given the name, there is no idea of it. And we talked about this. If names were applied to things self-existently, then there'd be many things. One thing would become many because sometimes one name applies to different things.
Right.
Can apply to a bad car. Then and sometimes the opposite happens. Okay.
People have multiple names.
Yeah.
Father, son, brother.
Okay, there would be many itself, or it would be themselves. And so our point is proven by these inconsistencies. Please read. She Sungbe Dun.
She Sungbe Dun de te jitna. Da nam ni dun de tang de la tane ki wang ki jukki. Umapoi wang ki mi jukte.
Yeah. She Sungbe Dun de te jena. Could you describe just briefly what this verses are talking about? There's a pun there for $10.
Because this is the summary.
Yeah, it's Tekdu. He's quoting a book called Summary. And the other guy says, could you just summarize that for me? And he says, haha, I get it. All right, everybody's happy. Danami, den dela dela taniki wangi juki. Here, draw means names, okay? Names or words applied to the reference of words, to their objects. Tanyeki wonki, by just nominally, okay? Nominally, right? And so names apply to objects by choice, by human's choice, right? It's not ngupa wonki. Ngupa wonki means by the nature of the thing that we're talking about. A car is not called a car because something about the car. A car is called a car because of something about the people calling it car. Okay. Car doesn't apply to car because it should. Car applies to car because people decide that car is going to apply to car. Okay, got it? It's a nominal decision. All right, but don't think that car can apply to car automatically. In fact, don't think dun 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 dun. Don't think minging out of lomeche. Okay, the fact is, if there were no human intercession prior to the application of the name, then
It would have no name.
there would be too many things called the same thing, or nothing would be called the same thing, or nothing would be called anything. Okay, basically. So that, please read this.
Soki chư khang la yang day ming ma tak be ngang ro tu pum soki du she mi kewa tang don chik la yang ming not so ki jit chok patang don du ma la yang ming chik ki jit chok pe chir.
Yeah, pum soki chö kang la yang. Anything you want to pick, for example, a coffee cup. Ming matape ngarotu, before you call it coffee cup, you don't think of it as, quote, coffee cup. Okay, until you apply the word coffee cup to this object, you don't think of the object as a coffee cup. Okay. And that's why dun chigla yang ming natsoki je chopadang. That's why you can also call this a chashka, pravda. You can call it a chashka, a cup, right? And dun dimala yang ming chiki. And that's why you can have two Bobs in the same room. Okay, one name can apply to multiple people. All right, cool. If the name were inherent to the thing, there could always only be one Bob in the room. Okay. And if the name were inherent to the thing, there wouldn't be other languages than English in the world. Okay, got it?
Or Russian.
Yeah. Okay, Ili Ruski Yazik. All right.
You're finished with me, right?
No, I'm not finished. The minute you want us to go, I'll make you do something. Oh, hey, Upa.
Oh, you want to eat a snack, Jigme.
Oh, God.
Okay, you read. Upa, can you check her?
Yes, please.
Give her a hard time. She's giving me a hard time all day.
Ngupoi, Wongi Juk Nani, Ming Matak Pei, Ngundu Yang Deo, Nyampe Du She Jung Wartel, Jung Wartel, Wadang, Dun Shik Du Martel, Xing Dun Du Ma Yang, Chik Cure La.
Cure. There's no English G. It's cure.
Cure La.
Yeah, because it's the past tense, because it's the optative, which means if it were. We use the past tense in English also for a maybe case, if it were true. Okay. So ngupa, by the way, nguwanki is an idiom that you guys should learn. All you philosophers out there, Kramer, and Mr. Lashaw, Wonky, okay, Wonky, which is an abbreviation for Wonky. If it were the very nature of things, okay, Wonky. What's that famous grace to Tsongkhapa and his two sons? Kanchen kepe tsuken Tsongkhapa, muto bribe wanchu gyaltsabje, muto brikpa. Okay, sometimes gyaltsabje is called muto rikpa. And that mutop is an extremely difficult word. And it means the nature of the thing suggests some logical conclusions about it. And it's another ancient name for deduction. And here it's similar, ngutop or nguwang, okay?
This doesn't mean automatically?
Yeah, in this case, it's a bad thing. In Gyaltsabje's case, in the grace to Gyaltsabje, it's a good thing, okay? So nguwangki jukpana means if words apply to objects automatically, okay, due to the nature of the object, okay, if this had to be called cup, okay, then even before you called it cup, you would think of it as cup. Okay, so if the word cup applied to this thing automatically, then before anybody called it cup, it would be saying cup, cup, I'm a cup. Okay, right? Okay, dushi jumar tal dang, dunchi dumar tal shing. Then one object would become many because if the word applied to the object automatically, since I can say cup, 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 then there'd have to be 5 cups here. Okay? Because each word would automatically apply to a cup. All right. And not only that, then if you had 3 cups here and I said these are cups, they would all become 1 cup. Okay. So the point is this, look, and here we go. Okay, the point is this: do our names apply to things by the nature of those things? Okay, is Neil Young a screaming eunuch, or is he the greatest guitar player who ever lived?
No, he's not that either. But
Like what Rolling Stone thinks. Okay, so this is very, very cool. He says, does a name apply to something before you think of it that way? Okay, we had it right in your book.
Yeah.
Before you think of it with a name, is it the thing or not? Okay, and this is applying directly to your whole section, which is the discussion between blank and blank.
Are you talking about philosophical schools?
This whole section we've been talking about
about essential nature and characteristics and an object.
Yeah. What do you call it? When you give something a name. You can say label. When you label something, fire, or the fire starting. That was the fire or fire starting. When you say that, when you say that, is it naturally fire and fire starting? That's the question. It turns out that your whole argument, which was supposed to be about the essential nature and the features of things existing automatically, becomes a discussion about language. Okay, becomes a discussion about applying names to things.
Okay.
So the whole, struggle we've had to understand what does it mean to apply. What do you say? Mingdang. Apply mo essence and what's the other? Mo de kepa.
Mo de kepa.
Okay, it's all a discussion about language. Okay, he's pulling it all over to a discussion about language, and he set off the change by quoting a sangha and saying, does the name exist before the mind perceives it? Okay, or not? Okay, does the name exist before the mind applies the name to the object, or is the name inherent to that object? Should that be called fire? Did it have to be called fire? Could it have been called water? And then water be called fire? You know,
Yeah.
this gets into how politicians talk. All right.
Oh no, they're convoluted. This makes perfect sense. What they do makes no sense.
And here's the last part from Choni Lama. Okay. And don't forget, Choni Lama is, what hat does Choni Lama have on during his commentary to the Diamond Cutter Sutra?
He has on his
Upper middle.
Sangika Madhyamika hat.
Yeah, like super upper middle way. He's super upper middle way. And don't forget, I mean, I just remind you that Master Asanga might interpret Master Asanga's words differently. And Choni Lama interprets Master.
Indeed.
Okay, I'm just warning you. I mean, don't, keep a little distance from this
Circumspect. Yeah.
sutra description of the same quotation.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, please read.
Who? Venerable Jigme or me?
Let's use General Jimmy. Let's go. Boom, so.
Bum sok me pe, shiryan de dak ki ming ne ju pa ye pe cheer. Dena bum sok kyang ye parnger way some chen yang bum sok kungi
Gayang.
kayang
Gayang.
gayang. So that's what it said.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Sorry.
Bum sok kungi mi pong par telwar ngir wa sok mango.
Yeah, Pum Sok Mebe Shir. We had this over and over in Adam's text. Just now. A place where
No
There is
coffee
no
cup exists.
take a particular spot in this room where there's no coffee cup sitting there, okay? Young, if the name applied to the object inherently, then you could say coffee cup, and it would be, okay? It would appear there, okay? It would appear there. And Dena Bumsa Kyang Yopagir, it would also exist there, okay? It would be there. Senjen Gayang, and then Choni Lama says, it would be so wonderful because nobody would need a vase anymore, a coffee cup. Nobody in the world would be without a coffee cup because they could just say coffee cup and they have a coffee cup. Pongba means bereft of coffee. Pongba means a state of poverty where you don't have a coffee cup. He says nobody would be poor anymore. They could just say coffee cup and coffee cup would appear. Okay, it'd be so wonderful. Gyurwa Sok Mango, many other problems too, and I'm not going to even talk about them. Okay. All right. We're going back to your text. Well, let's go. Yeah. Now your text says, bum, 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 bum. Where are you? Here
260,
it
yeah.
says, Mingi Ngaro Lo Me Chir. Look, Master Asanga said, before you have the name, you cannot have the concept. Okay?
Mhm.
La Sope. Therefore, you should use that statement to help you understand how the blue shirt is appearing wrong to you so that you can go from there to the gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Cannot gak what you do not understand isn't there. Okay. You can't disprove something until you know what's wrong. Okay. So he says you got to know how blue is lying to you before you can see how blue is empty. Okay. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. And I mean, you know, if you're not familiar with the material, you don't even know it's a quotation yet. So how could you go?
Right.
All right. 266. I don't know. When do you guys want to?
I would like Venerable Chinzum.
Okay. You're free. You can sit here if you
Hey,
want.
I am free.
Yeah, I would leave because there's a lot of salad around here.
What? There's healthy food there.
Eat my salad.
I keep eating it. I think it's having babies. It's like those mixed nuts guys. The salad keeps having babies. Every time I turn around, there's a new baby.
Are you there, Chinzum?
Yes.
Yes.
Go.
Do you want to read or check?
Check. My voice is.
Okay. Chi tok me wang she la tok pe tak pa sang ki nangwa ji tar char shena.
Okay. This is tough.
Nice.
So Wang She, your visual perception, right? For example, is tok me. All right. It does not involve thinking. Wrong or right, doesn't matter. Wang She is thoughtless. Okay. The perception of blue is thoughtless. The perception of blue doesn't have opinions. Okay. But we're talking about a way in which blue appears to you, which is only imputed.
Right.
Okay. By thought. Okay.
Right.
So now this guy gets cute. He says, is perception with your eyeball, is it thinking or not? And we say, no, it doesn't think. The eyes don't think. They just perceive things. Okay. Then he says, then how the hell could what the eye is doing be described as merely imputed by thought?
Right.
Okay, I'll say it again. Does the eye think when it sees blue? No. Then how can you say that when the eye does see blue, it's thought which is creating the perception?
Mhm.
It's a creation of thought. It's a imputation by thought. If the eye itself is thoughtless.
Uh-huh.
Okay, got it?
Uh-huh.
Good question.
Yeah.
All things are created by your ideas, and the eye doesn't have ideas. Then how could your eye be doing anything wrong?
What on earth?
Yeah.
Silly.
Okay, I think Chinzom should suffer more.
Same
Okay.
problem with a coffee cup.
Okay.
Te charwa gelna ngelna ni wang she la yume ta lang ki nangwa char mi si partel yume ta lang tok pe pakpat sang yimpe chiro.
Yeah, okay. And now we're saying, look, if it's contradictory to say that an eyeball, which is without thought, could see something which is merely a creation of your thoughts, okay? In that case, then the horse would never have appeared in the magic show.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Yeah.
want to explain? Venerable?
Yeah.
Any, Paula, you want to try?
Well, you'd have to think about the stick as a horse before you saw it as one.
The question is, could you see a horse in the magic show if you didn't think there was a horse there?
No.
You couldn't, right? Does your eyeball think?
No.
Then how could you see the horse?
Magic dust.
Yeah, anyway, it's wonderful. And by the way, there's a big point here. When you say illusion in the higher middle way, and when you say illusion in the lower middle way, it's completely different. Okay, it's two totally different things. Okay, here does the horse that the magician emanates with the magic fairy dust and the mantra from the little stick, does it appear to your senses? Is it simply a creation of your mind? Yeah, but how could it be if your senses are not mental?
Right.
I interpret it in a way that is mistaken.
Hassa says the mind interprets it in a way which is mistaken. Anyway, here, you got, it hinges here on the phrase, which you are all familiar with from the higher middle way, which is tope taksam. Just a creation of your thoughts, okay? Just imputed by your mind, okay? Imputed by your mind, okay? So a magic horse doesn't exist really. In fact, it's a classical example of tope taksam, something made up in your head. It's just something made up in your head, okay? So magic horses are called simply made up in your head. Therefore, there must be some head stuff going on with the eye.
Okay, so this again, this is mind only school.
Yeah,
Response
I
to
would
this.
say you guys were talking about this. What's it called? What's it called? Neljor Chupe.
Mhm.
Neljor Chupe Umarangyupa. Neljor Chupe Yogacara lower. Yogacara Swatantrika.
By the
Okay.
way, we're over time again, just so you know.
Oh,
Mind.
wait.
What do you call it?
Yeah,
They're
mind
called
only leaning.
mind only leaning lower middle way.
Yeah.
Lower middle way wolves dressed in mind only sheep's clothing.
I see. Okay.
Mind only is definitely the wolves.
Yeah. You saw what a teddy bear you are with that baby. Just you can forget that. Okay. Okay, stop.
So, oh, okay.
I'm gonna be merciful and we're gonna go back to the horse. Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to try and translate anything, or should
I
I?
want you to translate 267 and
Okay.
268.
Okay. Thank you.
And you know what we found out with words text is that sometimes a sangha is easier to read than the disciples of Jetsun Kapa and Jetsun Kapa. All right. Now,
Thank you so much, Kesh Michael.
yeah, we have a major salad eating break now.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
Yeesh.
Wow.
I might not get to the tomatoes, Nick. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
We'll alert the media.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Those were both two incredible classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, my
Thank you,
pleasure.
Paula.
You sing. Dun, 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 dun. Stop video. So.